Raw dog food costs $6 a day. Your current kibble costs $40. The question isn't which one is healthier. The question is, does the $60 difference actually change anything your dog experiences? I ran a 6-week nutritional evaluation. 5 brands, a calibrated weighing protocol, olfactory analysis on all 42 available varieties. My findings were conclusive. My human, Emily, does not know I am conducting this review. She thinks I eat whatever she puts in the bowl. This is how research gets done, without editorial interference. The problem with how most dogs choose food. Here is what Bark told me when I asked him how he picked his food. He said, and I am quoting directly, "It seemed good." That is the entire analysis. It seemed good. Bark has eaten the same food for 4 years. He has no longitudinal data. He has no control group. He cannot tell you whether the $89 per month he costs Emily's equivalent household is justified relative to outcomes. This is the problem. Dog food is a $10 billion category. The claims are enormous. Raw is ancestral. Kibble is processed death. Your dog will live 6 more years. And most of the data you'll find in a Reddit thread comes from someone whose dog is named Biscuit and whose methodology was, he seemed happier. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly what raw feeding costs, what the real risks are, how 5 leading brands actually compare, and who should actually switch. Let's start with the basics. They never explain clearly. BARF vs PMR. The difference actually matters. There are 2 philosophies of raw feeding. Most people don't know either one exists. They just hear raw food and assume it's all the same category. BARF, biologically appropriate raw food, also called bones and raw food, includes muscle meat, raw meaty bones, organ meat, fruits, vegetables, and dairy. The theory is that dogs evolved from wolves, and wolves ate the whole animal plus whatever plant material was in the prey's stomach. The vegetable component is intentional. PMR, prey model raw, is stricter. It's approximately 80% muscle meat, 10% raw edible bone, and 10% organ meat. No vegetables, no grains, no fruit. The argument is that wolves did not eat vegetables by choice. Why does this distinction matter? Because when you're comparing brands, a raw food label can mean either philosophy, and their nutritional profiles are meaningfully different. BARF-formulated products will have vegetables on the ingredient list. PMR-formulated products will not. Consult your veterinarian before switching feeding protocols. Individual dogs have different needs based on age, breed, activity level, and existing health conditions. The real cost math. This is where most raw feeding content fails you. They show you the per-pound price. They do not show you the actual per-day cost for your specific dog. Let's run the math for a 40-pound adult dog at moderate activity level. Premium dry kibble, for example, Origin Taste of the Wild. Feeding recommendation, approximately 1.75 cups per day for a 40 lb dog. Average cost, $80 to $90 per 25 lb bag. Daily cost, $40 to $80 per day. Fresh raw, for example, Darwin's natural pet products, raw Paws. Feeding recommendation, 2 to 3% of body weight per day equals 0.8 to 1.2 pounds per day for a 40 lb dog. Average cost, $5 to $8/lb depending on protein and sourcing. Daily cost, $400 to $9.60 per day. Freeze-dried raw, for example, Stella and Chewy's Primal. Feeding recommendation varies by product. Average cost, mid-range. Daily cost, $350 to $600 per day, closer to premium kibble when bought in bulk. That is a $1,000 to $2,800 annual difference per 40-pound dog. Before you make a decision based on raw is more natural, that number needs to be in the room. The pathogen question, what the FDA actually says. Here is the part most raw food advocates skip. Raw meat, chicken, beef, pork, lamb, can contain Salmonella, E. coli, Listeria, and Campylobacter. This is not hypothetical. The FDA has issued guidance on raw pet food specifically. What this means practically, for your dog. A healthy adult dog with a robust immune system handles these bacteria differently than a human does. That said, puppies, senior dogs, Immunocompromised dogs and dogs on certain medications face elevated risk. For your household, this is the risk most people don't calculate. Cross-contamination during food handling, prep surfaces, bowls, hands, creates pathogen exposure for humans in the home, particularly for children under 5, elderly adults, and immunocompromised family members. The handling protocol is non-negotiable if you're feeding raw. Thaw in refrigerator only, never at room temperature. Separate cutting board for raw pet food. Never cross-use with human food. Prep surfaces, hand washing, after every handling contact, stainless steel or ceramic bowl. Clean and sanitize daily. Discard unused portions within 3 to 4 days of thawing. If your household includes young children, elderly family members, or immunocompromised individuals, consult your veterinarian before adding raw feeding to your home. This is not a scare tactic. It is the actual risk profile. The 5 brands, Tucker's verdict. 1. Darwin's natural pet products. Darwin's ships subscription-based, custom-formulated raw meals directly to your door. Human-grade ingredients. USDA-inspected facilities. You can customize by protein type and health goal. The verdict. Darwin's is the most premium fresh raw option in this review. The quality ceiling is real. The cost is also real. Expect $5 to $8+ per day for a 40 lb dog depending on your protein selection. Who this is for? Dogs with specific health conditions where customized raw protein is medically indicated. Households with meal prep discipline and freezer space. Consult your veterinarian before transitioning to a customized raw diet, particularly for dogs with documented health conditions. 2. Primal Pet Foods. Primal makes freeze-dried and raw frozen products in both BARF and PMR formulations. Wide retail availability. Chewy, Petco, independent pet stores. The freeze-dried line doesn't require refrigeration until reconstituted. The verdict. Primal is the accessible premium option. Strong ingredient quality. Transparent sourcing, USDA-inspected, non-GMO produce in BARF formulas. Mid-tier price for freeze-dried. Who this is for? People who want raw nutrition without a full freezer commitment. Good bridge option for transitioning dogs. 3. Stella Chewy's freeze-dried raw. This is the one I keep coming back to. Here's exactly why. Stella Chewy's freeze-dried raw patties deliver raw nutritional density without the handling complexity of fresh raw. Shelf-stable until you open the bag. Rehydrate with water before serving, or crumble as a kibble topper if your dog is transitioning. The ingredient list is clean: meat, organs, bone, minimal additions, no artificial preservatives, cage-free and grass-fed proteins across the line. The cost gap versus fresh raw is meaningful. You're spending roughly 40 to 50% less than Darwin's or raw Paws for a nutritional profile that is, for most dogs, functionally equivalent. The trade-off is customization. Stella Chewy's doesn't allow the same protein customization as a subscription service, but for most dogs, it doesn't need to. For households that want raw nutrition, reduced pathogen risk versus fresh raw, freeze-drying significantly reduces bacteria while preserving nutrition, shelf-stable convenience, and a price point that doesn't require restructuring your monthly budget. Stella Chewy's is the answer. 4. Raw Paws Pet Food. Raw Paws ships directly and offers a wide variety of proteins. Chicken, beef, turkey, rabbit, venison, duck. PMR-aligned formulation. Good for rotation feeding, if your dog thrives on protein variety. The verdict. Strong option for dedicated raw feeders who want rotation variety. Higher handling commitment than freeze-dried. Direct pricing can be competitive at larger order volumes. Who this is for? Experienced raw feeders. Dogs with established raw diets who benefit from protein rotation. 5. Northwest Naturals. Northwest Naturals offers frozen raw nuggets in a BARF formulation. Muscle meat, organ meat, raw bone, plus fruits and vegetables. The nugget format is convenient for portioning. The verdict. Good mid-tier option. Slightly lower cost floor than Darwin's. BARF philosophy means dogs who don't tolerate vegetables well may need an alternative. Widely available through independent pet retailers. Who this is for? Dogs already adapted to vegetable inclusion in their diet. Households with consistent freezer access, the MID video call to action. Before the final verdict, I've put the full brand comparison sheet at pawsmadesimple.com/checklist. It includes the cost math for dogs from 15 pounds to 90 pounds, the handling protocol one-pager, and my complete transition schedule. Link in the description. Your human should download it before making any decisions. Final verdict: who should actually switch to raw? Here is the segmented verdict. Because raw feeding is not one decision. Freeze-dried raw is right for most households. Stella and Chewy's specifically. You get raw nutritional density, significantly reduced pathogen risk versus fresh raw, no freezer dependency, and a cost premium of roughly $2 to $4 per day over premium kibble. For most dogs, this is the highest ROI upgrade available in this category. Fresh raw feeding is right for a specific household type. You have consistent freezer space. You have the meal prep discipline to maintain safe thaw protocols. Your household does not include young children, elderly adults, or immunocompromised individuals, or you've confirmed the safety protocol with your veterinarian. Your dog has no conditions that require medically supervised diet changes. Kibble is still nutritionally adequate for most dogs. A FCO-compliant premium kibble meets established nutritional standards. If your dog is healthy, thriving, and you're not in a financial position to absorb the cost differential, a quality kibble is not a failure. It is a responsible decision. Consult your veterinarian for guidance specific to your dog's age, breed, and health history before making any diet change. Stella and Chewy's freeze-dried is currently available on Chewy and Amazon. It moves at higher volumes seasonally, and prices fluctuate. The link in the description reflects today's best available price. 6 months from now, you'll either be watching your dog thrive on a food you researched properly, or you'll be back on this page after switching 4 times based on BARF's methodology of it seemed good. Cliffhanger ending. That covers the raw food decision. But there's one question I haven't addressed. What do you do when your dog refuses to transition? Or when your second pet is a cat with entirely different dietary politics? Tucker, that's a longer conversation. That's next. E&D call to action. Tucker, the full comparison sheet is at pawsmadesimple.com/checklist.